PLP framework requires you to specify target cohort, this is the people you wish to do the prediction for, and the outcome cohort, this is what you want to predict. In this tutorial, I will show what a cohort looks like and how to use a cohort. I'm going to extract some examples from the CDM cohort table to show you the required columns, but I do want to point out that you don't actually have to just use this cohort table. You can use any table as long as it has the 4 columns that you're about to see as an input into the PLP package. So the 4 columns that every cohort table needs is a cohort definition ID. So this is a unique ID for specifying which cohort we're actually referring to for that row. And for example, you might have multiple cohorts in your cohort table. So you might have a cohort for diabetes, you might have a cohort for heart failure, you might have a cohort for new users of a specific drug. The subject ID refers to the person ID in your CDM. So generally this is just your person ID. And then the cohort start and end dates tell you when the patient entered and exited the cohort. So for example, you might find for new users of a drug, the cohort start date is the first time they take the drug, and the cohort end date is the last time they take the drug in a continuous way. Or you might have, for example, a pregnancy cohort where the cohort start date is the date that they became pregnant and the cohort end date is the date that they actually gave birth. Or if you're using a condition, you might find that the cohort start date and the cohort end date are the same, and it's just the date that they initially had the condition in the database. Now the time at risk is basically defined using your target cohort start and cohort end date. Now the PLP package will use these cohorts tables to create the labels indicating who has the outcome during some time at risk. And the time at risk is always relative to the target cohort start date and end date. For example, you might have a time at risk of 1 year following cohort start date, in which case your time at risk start is your cohort start date and your time at risk end is 365 days plus your cohort start date. But you also might want to have a time at risk of during the cohort, in which case your time at risk start date will be your cohort start date and your time at risk end date will be your cohort end date. Now the good thing is that we will be looking for the outcome occurring during the time at risk. So we can look at the outcome cohort start date and see whether that is within your time at risk. And it means that you can actually investigate lots of different time at risks. You're not creating a label that is fixed. Because we're going to be extracting these dates, we can actually create labels for lots of different time at risks very easily. Now you can create these cohorts using Atlas, or you can manually create them as long as they contain these 4 columns. So if you manually create the table, make sure you have these 4 columns to be able to use it in the PLP package.